Sup peeps, my name's Ian. I sell books on eBay. This is Bundles of Books. So welcome to or back to the channel. A few things to talk about today. I have some orders, which is always nice. Things were slightly better yesterday. Not massively so, but you know, everything ticking in the right direction. And I've been listening to what you guys say, which in turn reminded me why I really started making these videos a year or so ago, whenever it was. And yeah, that's what I want to talk about today. But first, let's run through a few orders, see what's actually sold on a Sunday in January. There's a few, nothing crazy spectacular, but some nice sales in amongst it anyway. First up, we have 4 Daily Court paperback books, so a pre-made bundle, sold through eBay for £10.99. Now, I'm not very organised as usual today, so I'm just going to shift that lot over there so I can move them to there. Next we have, I believe it's Turok Evolution for the GameCube. Yes, it is. That's it there. So, load of DVDs I got a few weeks ago now. There was a handful of video games in amongst it. That was one of them. That sold for £8.99. So, not bad for essentially a freebie. Next is a bundle of 20. A huge big bundle of 20, which sold for, I have to go into the sales details to get this because it was a buy get type deal. £28.99, which after the promoted fees, standard fees, etc., leaves me with 20 quid, which isn't too bad for 20 Disney DVDs. So a stack of 20, that's going to be 3 quid to post, and I've made, or 4 quid to post if you include the packaging I suppose, and I've made just over 20 quid on it. So that's a nice sale. I do like selling Disney DVDs, and that is a bundle of 20, including classics such as the original Pete's Dragon. Next, another bundle. So I have changed up how I'm doing some things on a few listings, just trying stuff differently. It's always worth trying things differently to see what happens. And this is a sale from one of those changed up listings. So it's 5 David Walliams books, 4 paperbacks and a little hardcover, and that should be under 2 kilos. David Walliams usually is. My usual build your own bundle listings, you know, it's like £3 to £4 a book plus £3.99 postage, but if you buy 3 books you get 2 free, so that would typically work out about, you know, £13 for 5 books. Thereabouts, £12.99 is kind of the average. Sometimes it's a little bit more, sometimes it's a little bit less. But I have taken a handful of those listings, ones which do sell, because I thought if I'm going to test to see if this works, let's do it on listings which typically sell anyway, so I can see if they keep selling, or if the sales improve, or if they decline. David Walliams is one of those. So now I've just got a flat, it's £4.99 a book. As simple as that. Free postage. eBay likes it when you've got free postage, so you tend to get a few more hits on your listings just for having free postage into it. So instead of being £12.99 for those 5 books as it typically would be, it comes in at £14.97. So that's a nice extra couple of quid. And it seems to be selling. Let's say I've had a couple of David Walliams sales today, but it seems to be going. I will get caught out slightly, not caught out, but I will make less if somebody does buy just a single book. Normally that would be like £3 for the book plus £3.99 postage. Now it's just going to be £4.99, so there's a couple of quid less than that. But these listings are not set up with the intention of selling single books, and I will still make some profit on a £4.99 sale for a book that cost me 25p. Yeah, so I'm still going to make something on it. It's not a bad thing as such, but I'm hoping that will drive a bit more traffic to the listings, having the free postage, and seeing what kind of difference it makes. So that's good that that's gone. I've got a feeling I've got another couple of sales from similar listings. Next we have a pre-made bundle, Neil Stevenson sci-fi 4-book paperback bundle, Quicksilver, Snow something, let's see, Snow Crash, The Diamond Age and The Confusion. Now I'm telling you what they are because it's a pre-made, so they're pre-packed and ready to go, you know, but they sold for $16.99, so quite nice for 4 little books. Next we have Shari LaPena, An Unwanted Guest, £4.35, so that was a cheapie going out the door. Followed by more media, this time it's a DVD, and it is Young Frankenstein, so the old Mel Brooks, Gene Wilder classic. I don't know if I've ever seen this. It's one of those films that I feel like I should have seen, but have I? I don't know. It looks very familiar because it's quite a famous movie, but I don't know whether I've ever seen it. Anyway, that sold, and did I tell you what it sold for? I can't remember if I did, but it sold for £5.99. So again, not a huge sale, but quite nice for something that I would have paid absolute pennies for, if anything. Next we have, yes, another bundle. So this is a bundle sold ye olde way, with the usual, you know, £3 a book plus £3.99 postage, and it's 5 Joe Nesbo's 4 paperbacks and a wee hardcover at the bottom, which means it might still scrape in under 2 kilos. But Joe Nesbo's one of those authors who writes chunky books, but I think we got, let's just check what we actually made on that, because again it's another multi that I need to go in and look at. £13.99. So even if that's over 2 kilos and I have to pay £6-7 in postage, I'm still making a few quid on it, so it's not a bad thing. Then we have Ian Rankin, and Ian Rankin sold under the new way, £4.99 a book, free postage, and somebody bought 3 of them, une, deux, trois. So a couple of paperbacks, a hardcover, they've sold for £9.98. So previously, if I'd sold a 3-book bundle, it would have been buy 2 get 1 free plus the postage, so it would have been £9.99. So £9.98 for the bundle of 3. So I make a penny less doing it the new way if it's a bundle of 3, but I make a couple of quid more if it's the new way doing it as a bundle of 5. So, you know, swings and roundabouts. It's working out at pretty much the same prices, it's just a different offer to see if people are interested in that different offer. An offer on an author. And the last little order is Slime by David Walliams. Nice wee hardcover first edition. Again, that is from one of the new price and structure listings, obviously the David Walliams books, told you that already. So that's sold on its own for £4.99. So I'm just wanting to check, I've been meaning to do this because it did sell on promoted listings, so this is going to be the most expensive sale I could have made for this single book, and I just want to see what I will have actually made on it. So £4.99 was the total price, transaction fees 97p, the ad fees 60p, so my order earnings on that are £3.42, and it's going to cost me £3.35 plus packaging to post it. So on the face of it, that's like an 8p loss, but I've got about £1 coming back to me on a VAT rebate there, because books, the vast majority of books, not all books, but the vast majority of books, you don't have to charge VAT when you sell them, but you do get charged VAT for your postage, for your listing fees. So the VAT that I've paid out to eBay, Royal Mail, etc. is due back to me, taken off against any VAT that I owe at the end of the period, which means in the case of the likes of that book, it's somewhere between 80p and £1 back in VAT that I will get from the VAT man when it gets to that. I might not actually get any money back because I do have stuff that I do where I have to pay VAT, but it's still a rebate in there. So essentially, I'm still getting my 80 pence to a pound back on that one. The books cost me 25p, so, you know, worst case scenario, I've made 50 pence selling that book on its own. But hey, it's quick and it's easy to do. I've spent more time talking about it right here now than I will have spent listing it, picking it, packing it, posting it. It's the way it is. So that's the order so far. I've got another couple to grab and show you, so I'll get that done right now. Orders. Right, we have, first of all, by Claudia Gray, a nice wee hardcover Evernight novel, Balthazar. Don't know anything about it. I'm guessing it's like YA fantasy, but that sold for £6.99 on eBay. Also on eBay, we have a bundle of 8 Diana Yo Gabba 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 Gabaldon books. So that's the Outlander series. So a nice big chunk of chonkers going to somebody, and that was £34.99. Yeah, a lot of big chunks in that stack. A lot of reading. Somebody's going to have fun. And as I alluded to earlier on, 2 Richard Dawkins books sold on Vinted for a whopping £2. So that's at least got that bit started. And I did say there was more I wanted to talk about to all of you. Why did I start this channel in the first place? Was it to become a YouTube millionaire? No. Was it to become some sort of minor celebrity so I could appear on Love Island? No. I started this because in my previous career, I led very large teams. I had a lot of really good people working with me, important, members of that team. So when we were moving forward with things, when we had to plan things, when we had to make decisions, there was a lot of good sound heads and advice round about to make sure that we were steered in the right direction. If it's all left down to me, if I get the say every single time, it's going to go wrong, because you cannot always be right. Sometimes you get it right, but more often than not you're going to get it wrong and you're going to make those mistakes. So it's always been really important to have a good, reliable sounding board around you, so that when you're working through, let's say, plans, ideas, whatever it is you need to do, you don't just do everything that comes off the top of your head. And more often than not, the best advice I got was, you're wrong. What are you thinking? Don't be stupid. And that's great advice. It's fantastic advice. You have a plan, you know what you want to do. Because you know what you want to do, it's very easy to ignore the other options and to find reasons to dismiss those other options and stick with what you're doing. So as soon as I started working on my own, I lost all of that. You can try talking to family and friends about these things, but nobody's really interested. Oh, you're selling books on eBay, that's nice. That's as much of a reaction as you typically get. So I started doing these videos so that by talking about things, out loud, saying them, even if I don't have, that direct conversation, 99.99% of the time, it allows me to hear myself where I'm being stupid, where I'm being thick, where I'm making excuses, or where something actually does sound like a good idea and has a bit of promise, although that's definitely the rarity of them all. And that's really why I started doing this. It was just to give me a chance to kind of vocalise what my plans are, what I'm thinking, to see if it still made sense excuse me, once I'd actually spoken about it. And I say, more often than not, it's an eye-opener. However, in the last few weeks, since I've kind of restarted doing this series, a video every day, starting at day 0 on the 31st of December 2024 and working my way through, sales have been terrible on eBay. And I know that expecting different results by doing the same thing is madness. It's you know, if you keep doing the same thing, you're going to keep getting the same results. And I very much understand that. I'm very, very aware of that. However, the results I was getting were different from what I'd previously got doing the same thing. And I'm not talking about, you know, you get a good sales period over Christmas. I'm talking about kind of throughout the whole of the last 18 months or so. So I've been persevering, and many of you have made very, very sound suggestions. You know, try out Vinted Pro, give it a go. And instead of taking that on board and thinking, right, okay, how could I make that work? I've just come up with my excuses. Oh, but the listing's a bit of a pain. Oh, but you don't make the same kind of money. Oh, postage, shipping. And ridiculous excuses. And thankfully, you guys have been really good in persisting with your good advice. You've done it a lot more politely than my many team members would have done. Many of my team members would have done in the past, telling me I was being an absolute idiot and what am I thinking. Yeah, you're right. Doing the same thing is madness to expect different results, so things need to get changed up. I've got thousands of books which I do not have listed, books that were previously listed on eBay but they were low value books, and it was beginning to cost me money every month to keep them listed. You know, if I'm paying the equivalent of £6 a month for 1,000 listings that are taking 3 or 4 months to sell, and I'm only making 50p on them, then all of a sudden I'm making literally pennies on them, so it really wasn't worthwhile. So I've taken all of them down before Christmas. I've got all of those sitting. I have hundreds of books that I've sourced since then, and even before then, that have still not been listed because I'm trying to work out exactly what to do with them. And Vinted makes perfect sense for these. You know, if it works, which I think it will, as you may have seen, 15 items listed, 2 sold in a day. If it looks like it's working, then I will consider listing some of the stuff that I've also got on eBay on Vinted. So as I list it on eBay, I'll do both at the same time and just make sure I've got the listings marked so that I know to take down a listing as soon as one sells on the other platform. But for now, I have, I say, plenty of books that I can get put up on Vinted and see what kind of return we can get on those. There's still a couple of things that I'm a wee bit wary of and need to, you know, make sure they make sense. If looking at all of the postage options, the maximum's 2 kilos. So if somebody orders a whole load of books and the total weight is more than 2 kilos, how does the postage take that into account? I don't know. I'll need to have a wee dig and a look and a see, and just be aware of that as I'm going through and creating them. But yeah, why have I not listened to you guys? So thank you so much for your persistence. There's been fantastic advice from many of you, lots to consider. So yes, yesterday I spent 20 minutes, half an hour, just playing about with, let's say, that 15 listings to see how easy it was to get them up and going, because it has improved. There's no doubt about that. And today I'll take a 2-hour chunk and just see exactly what that gets done listing wise onto Vinted, and that'll give me a much better idea of, you know, what the potential return would be if I was to go at that on an even larger scale. You know, how much can I actually get listed in a solid 2-hour slot? How much potential return is there from that 2 hours of listing? So even if it is selling books for £1.50, is there potential in there? And then persist with that for a few days, and then we'll start getting some sort of a sell-through rate coming back. So we'll know if I'm listing 100 books, are 2 of them selling in the first week, in which case that's an awful lot of work to make £2, or is the sell-through rate a little bit higher and a bit more determined? It's not a real word, but I know what it means in my head. So yes, that's what I'm going to do today. I'm going to get this lot packed up that I've been showing you so far. I've got a few things to list on eBay, not too many, and then I'm going to get battered into a couple of hours of Vinted listing, and see where it takes us. So I'm hoping it'll generate a wee bit extra. I'm hoping it doesn't throw up too many complications. I need to do a wee bit of organising with how I've got stuff stored, because if I'm having stuff that's only listed on Vinted and only listed on eBay, I'll just clear a few shelves so that I can have vintage stock in one place rather than having it all mixed up, and it'll make it easier to go and find stuff when it comes up. And yeah, that's about it for now. I did do a wee pick up yesterday. It was nothing spectacular at all. I think I only got about 60 books actually, 62 books, and nearly all of it is just bread and butter bits and pieces. In fact, I think all of it is bread and butter. I don't think I've picked up anything that has got any kind of standalone value. So that be that part of it. Anywho, I'm going to go now, get on with the day, and I shall see you tomorrow. Take care. Bye bye.